Good evening. Welcome to Investigator News. I'm your host, Ellie, and this is Justice for All. Boy, filming the police just when you thought it was okay to do so. Well, there's laws and rules, and there's reason why there's laws and rules. And now that everybody's got cell phones and people get pulled over, they automatically pull out and start filming. Now, the police do have body cams, but we're finding police are taking phones, deleting your what you record, everything to pushing you back, taking your phone, detaining you, all kinds of stuff. Uh, and I know everyone has been on YouTube and has seen it all. So, wow, filming the police. Boy, what do you think, Karen? Don't automatically pull your phone out just yet. So now this is out of Arizona, and this is a hot topic, I guess, lately for these people with smartphones. And filming something is um, basically not only you in the car, your passengers, but now we have people that are nearby that are filming. And that's pretty much everybody's got their hands in it. And now when everybody starts filming and everybody wants to get in for a closer look, the cops then now get this, um, says, everybody back, don't get in the way. It's interfering with police business if you start getting too close. That's the people that are standing around. So now think about it. I know you want to get the close up or a friend, but stand back and don't interfere, because all you're going to do is get yourself arrested. So, but now in Arizona, um, um, let's see. Oh, I lost my spot here. Boy, I was going good too. Um, the public can very well film what they want with their cell phones. You just got to be very careful. You can't film inside of a public place or a private place, private buildings, private people's space. You have to, of course, you could be taken to court, or they just might be blowing a little bit of hot air if you film them. Uh, now, the what we have found is the Arizona federal judge has, boy, let me start this again. Arizona federal judge has ruled that Arizona law limiting how close people can get to law enforcement to record them, that's unconstitutional, citing infringement against a clearly established rights to film the police and doing their jobs. Now, the ruling is from a U.S. district judge, permanently blocks enforcement of the law that he had already suspended the law last year. So this is in Arizona, folks. So check your state and city and laws on whether or not you can film the police before you can just whip your phone out when you get pulled over. Now, so what happened was this law got passed, and it says if you have to stay more than 8 feet back from the police, um, not, so what's going on now is people are going, okay, 8 feet. So they're assuming they're 8 feet, and then they'll go back a few more feet and think, okay, that's 10 feet, 12 feet. Okay, now I can go in for a closer shot. Now, if you get in close and you're blocking anybody that's standing outside the car, or they detained them, that is, you're going to be talked to by the police department. Don't just assume you can stand and get as close as you want. What about those that are in the car? Now, if they sit still and they film it, and the police officer doesn't have anything to say, you could be closer than 8 feet. Now, if has you detained and you're filming, and your friend jumps out of the car and starts getting in between, then now you're obstructing an investigation. Not only that, you get arrested. And see, this is what's going on across this country: is everybody has got these cell phones and they're whipping them out. And what about if you're somewhere and you see a ruckus going on and you want to get it on and put it live on your Facebook or Twitter account, well, you still got that law. Now they say common courtesy law is 8 to 10 feet, so at least give the cops that much distance, folks. I mean, if you think about it, measure it out. It's not that far away. You don't need to be all up in the scene and underneath and in the middle of the cops' business, or otherwise you could be, they say, detained, arrested, and charged for interfering in police business. Huh? Wow. So don't do that. Now, this, you know, you've seen that I mentioned Wendy's. Now, this is from Philadelphia. And no, I'm sorry. Yeah, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I think that's what it says. Now, this manager allegedly created a fake employee so they could collect the fake employee's pay. Um, and this happened in Lancaster County, where an audit of the Wendy's, they found a former general manager allegedly stole almost $20,000 from the restaurant by creating a fake employee. Now, according to the charging documents, the woman allegedly clocked in and out as a ghost employee, and so what happened was for over a year she got away with it until everyone started questioning, who's this employee? You know, they didn't show up for their shift, but I see they worked. And they said, oh, well, I guess you didn't see him. I guess it was busy. The manager always seemed to make up a lot of excuses and why this employee wasn't being seen. And so this was allegedly stolen by the manager who created 128 shifts for the ghost worker. So it was a hard working worker, never called in sick, never was late, clocked in at the same time every day, clocked out the same time every night. No, like I said, no complaints about this employee, but oddly, no one ever heard of this employee and never seen the employee. And the employees, after quite a few months, started looking around to find out who this person was. So after a while, it got back to the people above the manager, and they started looking into it. And come to find out, they were putting it on their Cash App. This manager was putting all the pay on her Cash App. So when they started looking at it and looking at the no Social Security, the Social Security number didn't match. So this employee didn't have a Social Security number. So all in all, when they finally pinned this manager down and got the full story and checked the paperwork, checked that when this employee worked mostly was on this manager's shift, they caught. And she had to pay the company back and, of course, lost her job. Now, there's a lot of these well-known chain fast food places you see now hiring on the door. Well, there's another scam that they use. The government, if you have someone and you put them through training and you get a bonus from the government, you get tax credits. Now, if that employee don't work out, then you, of course, let them go. And then, of course, you could just put that, now hiring back up in your window. And you could do it as many times as you want. You don't necessarily have to keep the employee past probation, and it actually makes money for that business. And see, that's being done a lot. This is the other scam that they're talking about. So this manager not only created a fake employee, now we've got managers and business owners now using this federal payout. I'm not going to say it's a grant. Well, I guess it would be a grant that, you hire 4 or 5 people, you get the credit for it, you put them through their training period, then you put them through a probation. And if they don't make it the 30 or the 60 or the 90, then you let them go. Then you let a couple of them go, then you hire a bunch of new ones again. Now, isn't that a scam? Now, when's the government going to catch that one? Well, they have in a few states. And now they're starting to look at all businesses that there's going to be requirements to get that money. I say keep them for a year. I mean, that's a big scam. How many times you go places and they're saying, "Oh, we don't have the staff," and then now you can look at them and go, "Huh, I wonder if you're using that scam or if you're really shorthanded." So what I've been doing, I'm like, well, yeah, you just need to hire people. Plenty of people looking for work. Yeah. So, wow, boy. um, So this fake nurse, boy, folks, this one kind of got me. She has been arrested 3 times. And fake nurse. I mean, she's fake. She don't even have any nursing schooling whatsoever. And how many times do we hear about that? We hear about a fake doctor or a doctor that's lost his license, still practicing. Well, what about a fake nurse? Now, this is in Kansas. It was in the Kansas City Star. But now it kind of goes into Michigan, kind of where I guess where she was found. And she was uh, basically arrested and then charged again. Now, folks realize a lot of these doctors, nurses, lawyers, a lot of these professions that you got to definitely have credentials for, they fingerprint you. And lo and behold, this woman let herself get fingerprinted for all these jobs. Um, Not only for some of the jobs, but she had also been fingerprinted for working at one of the establishments with the elderly. So they fingerprinted her. But now, the professions I'm talking about, when you get a license, you have to be fingerprinted. So she has done a little bit, and no one ever asked her for well, no one asked her for the first job whether her credentials were in order. She just made it all up. The second one, when they finally found out, and they were looking for her from a previous job, they went ahead and let her go. Okay, so the second job now, she actually showed them her license, her driver's license. So they got her name and everything down. And lo and behold, she was under a different name for the employment. She made up a name and then made up the college she went to. And this nurse was something. Now so now she's being charged for identity theft right off. Not only that, but practicing without a license, using of a fake ID. Get this, all the charges keep clamoring up on this woman. Um, Now, the records she filled out, according to the court records, was in the Western District of Michigan. Okay, involving a woman's fake as a professional licensed nurse. And they said when got she got into court, she said, well, she wasn't practicing nursing. She was a manager over a nursing staff, which means all she had to do was make sure they were doing their job. She didn't actually perform nursing duties. So, did it lessen the charge on her? Not really, because she was already being charged the first and the second time as falsifying, not only falsifying records, but the other charges I've listed. Now, she's 48 years old, but she was using someone's license number that was in their 20s. Um, and so the third one, she applied at the job in Michigan hospice facilities. Now, um, so now she was looking at all different numbers. So while she's waiting to go to court on the second charges, she's already in a nursing home with a third job, or a third time, or a third job actually, as going as a nurse. So Karen said, "Why does this not surprise me?" I mean, think about it, Karen. Would you want a fake nurse taking care of your dad in hospice? Or even some of these aftercare centers? Or what about those for the disabled? What about when your loved one is sent over to a center that are taking care of them after surgery, or if they're in their final stages? It goes for all of it, because more and more they're saying there is a 20% increase in fake nurses in this country right now. And it's not funny, but I had to chuckle because this doesn't, like Karen said, why does this not surprise me? People are dying for better pay. Even though it was at the beginning of the 2020, we heard that everybody's pay went up. That was great, but not everybody's pay has gone up. So this is somebody that I guess she just wanted to be a nurse. Now, this is over quite a few years. And the question is, why didn't she just go to CNA school? I mean, it's not that expensive. It's not that hard to get into. And if she's at least graduated, she could be a nurse, a CNA, or, you know, um, or work at the hospital in another field that she could be still helping patients. But no, she got on this rung that she was a nurse in her head. Now, when they checked her mental mentality, she was all there, very bright, very smart. In fact, one of her attorneys decided, why don't we just give her a CNA test and see how she does, the final? She took it and passed. So she could do this. Well, no, instead she gets caught in this third nursing home, in which, here now she's charged. This will be the third time. Now I'm going to keep an eye on this, because there's get this, three nurses in Michigan right now that have impersonated a nurse. One's an RN. And I was like, what is going on in Michigan that they all flocked up there to be a fake nurse? But then I found out there's a dozen in California. Once you start looking through the news articles and you type one in, boy, you get a bunch. It's kind of like the next one. Um, so I'm going to finish this one up. So um, she basically tried to convince the authorities that she was licensed in Texas in 2015. Well, of course, they looked into it, and finally, with her lawyers and looking at her nursing tasks and everything, she is not going to be able to become a nurse ever. They're going to block her. She will never be able to become a nurse or be any part of a hospital system. Now, she will face up to 25 years, okay, um, in federal prison. Now, so if she gets 25 for all the counts, the fake ID and the faking being a nurse, and thank God she didn't hurt or kill anybody, because that would be way longer. Because I bet some of you are saying, that's not long. Yeah, well, it's not when you cut it in half. So half of 25, she might see 12, 15 years, and then she'll be back out on the streets again. So hopefully, when in her mid 50s, almost 60s, she won't decide to go try to be a nurse again. Maybe she'll try to become an ice cream man or something. So, wow. Now, this last one, boy, folks, over the weekend, it was like boom, 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 boom. Drunk teachers. What is it with what is it with drunk teachers? All of a sudden, I found. Well, see, there was the one in Oklahoma I told you about. Well, there was another one in Oklahoma. Well, actually, there was two more in Oklahoma. one was a fourth grade teacher, one was a second grade teacher, that all three out of Oklahoma, just since August, have been arrested or had to resign. Some had charges, some didn't. Some weren't quite drunk. One of them wasn't quite drunk. The other two were. One was let's see, uh, well, all three were females. We got Kimberly Coates, Jennifer Davis, and there was another one. I don't know if I got his name, but they were all in elementary school, and they were all reeking. Not just they were staggered a little bit, and someone said, "Whoa, you okay?" No, these are people that were it smelled like alcohol. And they all said, I only had one glass of wine. What is it, wine that teachers drink? I'm trying to figure that one out. Even the male uh, teacher said he had a glass of wine, but it was the night before. Well, remember the one I told you last week? It was one that said, "Oh, I drank wine the night before." Well, they're all saying I had a glass of wine the night before. Well, see, and then it wasn't just that. There was a guy um, in Chino Hills, San Bernardino, California. He was part of stem cell or STEM teaching out of a college. And they said he was really bad. His name was Clifford Rapper. Rap, Rapper. Yeah, Rapper. Um, and then I started looking. I'm thinking, well, how many have been showed up drunk? Well, I got six. And then I said, okay, well, let me see what the stats are. So I ran it thinking I wasn't going to get anything. And lo and behold, there is about a 30% increase in teachers getting drunk at school since 2020, though. And so when they started looking into this, folks, this is what gets me. They asked them all, what is it? And they said, financially. Financial, they said, yeah, with the cost of living going up, the teacher's pay isn't going so far. And some of them have been resistant to what they said forced curriculum into their schooling, and they don't quite agree with it. And if they don't, then they don't get the pay raise that comes with teaching that. So, of course, they're the ones that's holding out and the financial burdens. And they said the other one was the fact that um, they haven't had raises in quite some time because they're pouring all of the money that they should be for the teachers to get their raises. They're using that money to put more into books for this new curriculum into the schools. Well, that's no reason to drink. So I'm going to get back to these dozens of teachers that are going to school drunk. Now, there's no reason for this. I mean, they got an easy day. They say that average hours for a teacher is 7 to 4 p.m. So, I mean, it's a regular day. I mean, they can't wait till they get off. I mean, keep a bottle in your car, I guess, and I don't want them drunk driving, but can they wait? I mean, for wine? I mean, well, they could be alcoholics. Maybe they just have to drink all day long. The other one was the fact that there was three teachers that was back in 2021 that the students got a hold of the teacher's vodka in the desk and shared it during lunch. They found it in the teacher's desk and took it. The teacher didn't know. So now we got drunk vodka students going back to class. And of course, those teachers were fired and lost their credentials. My whole thing is, why do we have this all of a sudden all over the news? Have you guys noticed it? This is like really nuts that we got drunk teachers at school, and then even a professor in college. Now you say, well, what about the high schoolers? Yep, I found three teachers for high school, and one was a coach, and It was because he had to sit down, and they ended up calling one of the students, called an ambulance for him, and come to find out he was just drunk, bad drunk. The other two, it was the other coaches that caught him and turned him in. Um, and then we've had even teachers at the games, going to some of the sports games, that have been arrested by the security or police officers for being at the games drunk. I don't know if it's just the whole one teacher, being caught in Oklahoma for all the rest of this to come out. But I mean, they go back all the way to 2020. And then I started even seeing them before then. And it wasn't that bad though before then. And that's what got me looking into what is the cause from 2020 on. And I was thinking it was the curriculum. And no, it's the fact of cost of living. Some of them said their spouse is disabled or retired, or they're the only income for themselves, and they're just finding it harder and harder to be able to make ends meet. Well, you don't start drinking for that. Boy. So, wow. Get rid of the drunk teachers. And you know what? There was at least, out of the couple dozen that I found from 2020 on, there was at least 5 of them that had opioids. One had fentanyl on them, and a few others with just pain pills that was on them that were not prescribed. I guess that would be opioids. One had marijuana, and of course no medical marijuana card. So not only are they taking alcohol, but they're taking pills, and pills not prescribed to them, fentanyl and marijuana. Boy, where were those teachers when I was growing up? I had all the fuddy-duddies that was like straight laced, and they would spray you with hairspray. I'm serious. We had a teacher that she like sprayed hairspray all the time, and instead of like cursing or staring at you, she'd spray her hairspray, from her desk at your direction. I don't know what it meant, but I just meant, well, maybe I need a little more in my hair or something, you know. Uh, I had all the tough teachers. I had the ones that you just knew they didn't drink. They needed drinks. They needed something because they were mean. Boy, we had one that his name was Mr. Wrinkle, I believe. What a name! And he would threaten you just for not looking straight forward for 10 minutes. We're fidgety kids, mean kids, mean kids, mean teachers, and teachers that bring fentanyl to school. Okay, folks, that's it for Justice for All. And I hope you enjoyed the show, and share it, subscribe. We need to do a lot of sharing with this show. This is a great show. We get justice, and all those teachers were arrested, pretty much, unless the schools didn't charge them. Most of them definitely lost their jobs. Some lost their teaching license. So, all right. So we went from, filming the police, fake nurses. Oh boy. Wendy's. Yeah, watch that. All right. And we'll have more of these next Monday. So be sure to tell your friends and family about Justice for All on Mondays. Subscribe and hit that like button, the thumbs up, even harder too. And share, share, share. I thank you all for watching. And coming up next, William. He said he was going to gather some stuff up, and I got a few things to throw in there for him. So I might be off to the side a little bit, but we have William's show coming up, so come on back for William in the news. And thank you for watching, and come back tomorrow. News, big news. I got a lot of great news from the weekend. So come on back and bring your friends and family. And thank you all for watching. Have a wonderful Monday, and see you soon.